Oozing. Hello, my friend. Welcome to our channel, Moon Sleep Stories. My name is Mushroom, and it is an honor to be your guide tonight. This is a space for you to let go, to rest. So take a slow breath and exhale gently. Now, let's step through the door together into a story that will soothe your soul and lull you to sleep. Here, the moonlight will watch over you. The whispers of the night will carry your worries away, and every word you hear will guide you deeper into peace, into comfort, into dreams. So settle in, my friend. Your journey into rest begins now. You notice it before I even say it. That subtle heaviness, not the kind that comes from lifting grocery bags or trying to carry a wiggly toddler who thinks you're playing a game of put me down immediately or I'll scream. No, this is the kind of weight that doesn't live in your muscles, but in your mind. It's in the small knot in your chest, the faint tension in your shoulders, the way your jaw holds just a little too tight, even when you're lying in bed. You've been carrying this all day, maybe all week, and now, finally, it's time to put it down. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out through your mouth, soft and steady. There's no rush. Think of this breath as a polite but firm eviction notice for the thoughts you don't want anymore. Your eyes are heavy, not the I need caffeine heavy, but the I might melt into this pillow heavy. You let them close, and when you do, you notice something curious. You're not in your room anymore. He's standing in a wide, quiet field under a deep twilight sky. The air is cool and still, smelling faintly of something sweet like lavender or maybe freshly baked bread. Historians still argue whether bread actually smells sweeter at night, but I can tell you right now, it does. The field stretches out in every direction, and in your hands, you feel them. Small, smooth stones. You don't remember picking them up, but somehow you know what they are. Each stone is a worry, a stress, a what if that's been rattling in your mind. Some are warm, recent worries. Some are cold, old ones you've carried for years. So worn, you almost forget they're there. You shift your hands, and the stones clink together softly. It's not unpleasant. It's like the sound of marbles in a jar. But you know it's time to let them go. A narrow path appears in the grass ahead, leading toward a small wooden bridge in the distance. You take a step forward, feeling the earth spring gently under your feet. And as you walk, you start dropping the stones. One by one, some bounce once and disappear. Others sink into the soft soil without a sound. You don't even have to look back. You know they're gone. Somewhere above you, the sky deepens into a rich indigo. Stars begin to emerge, not all at once, but like shy guests at a party, slipping in quietly until you suddenly realize the room is full. You pause on the path and tilt your head back. There's Orion, looking smug as always. There's the Big Dipper, tipped slightly as if it's pouring calm straight into your soul. And just there, hugging the horizon, Venus, gleaming bright enough to make you think someone left a porch light on in space. I could tell you that sailors once used these stars to find their way home, which is true. But right now, they're here to help you find your way to a quieter place inside yourself. You keep walking, and the wooden bridge comes into focus. It's small, only a few steps across, and over it runs a trickle of water, no wider than a ribbon. The sound is soft, like glass beads rolling in a gentle stream. As you reach the middle of the bridge, you feel the last of the stones in your hand. It's the heaviest one. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. You hold it over the water for a moment. The moonlight catches its surface, and for a second, it looks almost beautiful. Strange how even the things that weigh us down can shimmer if the light hits them right. And then you let it drop. It falls in slow motion, the way things sometimes do in dreams, landing in the water with a soft plunk. Tiny ripples spread outward until they fade into the quiet surface. Gone. You lean on the bridge's railing and listen. Somewhere in the grass nearby, a cricket starts a sleepy song. The night air feels a little lighter, like the whole field just exhaled with you. A warm breeze brushes past, and for a second it smells faintly of the sea. It makes no sense. You're standing in a meadow, but you accept it. Dream logic doesn't need to explain itself. Like that one time Napoleon supposed to Maud sadly kept a rabbit hunt, and the rabbits chased him. True story, quirky, but true. The path ahead curves slightly, disappearing into a cluster of silver-barked trees. Their leaves glint faintly, as if dusted with frost, but when you touch one, it's warm. You step under their branches, and the sound changes. The crickets are quieter here, replaced by a faint humming, like the trees are breathing together. Maybe they are. You walk slowly, feeling the ground shift to something softer, like moss. Each step makes the tension in your body loosen another notch. Your shoulders sink. Your hands rest at your sides. Even your face feels more at ease. In the middle of the grove, you find a bench. It's old, the kind you imagine sitting in a forgotten courtyard somewhere in Italy. Smooth wood, edges worn round from years of use. You sit. For a while, you just listen to the soft hum, to your own breathing. The night air is neither cool nor warm now. It's just right, balanced. And here's something you notice without try. The The weight you've been carrying feels different, not gone entirely. Life doesn't work like that, but smaller, manageable. It's like carrying a backpack for so long you forget it's there, and then one day you take it off and think, oh, this is what light feels like. You let your eyes close, letting that thought sink in. Somewhere, far off, you hear the sound of moving water. It's faint now, but you know you're headed there next. The sound will grow, the night will deepen, and you'll keep walking, lighter with every step. You open your eyes, not all the way, just enough to see the path again. The bench is behind you now, and ahead, that faint rhythmic murmur of water is a little louder. It's not rushing, not loud enough to demand attention. It's the kind of sound that slips into your mind like a friendly whisper and says, "Come on, you'll like this." You follow it. The trees begin to thin, and moonlight spills through, pooling on the path like little silver lakes. Each time your foot touches one, the air feels a fraction cooler, the sounds a shade softer. It's as if these pockets of light are small gateways, gently nudging you deeper into calm. The sound of water changes, no longer just a murmur, but a gentle gurgle, like laughter half swallowed. And then you see it, a stream, wide enough that you can't quite jump across, winding lazily through the land. Its surface glints in the moonlight, each ripple a silver thread weaving away into the dark. You step close, feeling the dampness of the ground beneath your bare feet. The air here is thick with the smell of wet earth, rich and grounding. For a moment you stand still, watching the stream's surface. Every so often, a leaf drifts by, turning slowly in the current until it disappears around a bend. You crouch down, dip your fingers into the water. It's cool, refreshing, like rinsing your hands under a tap on a summer evening. The touch sends a quiet shiver up your arm, not unpleasant, but almost like the water itself is saying, "Wake up to the moment." Somewhere deep in history, streams like this were lifelines. People built entire settlements around them, fishing, drinking, washing clothes, telling stories on their banks. The ancient Greeks even imagined rivers as gods, each one with a personality and temper. Historians still argue whether those gods were benevolent guides or just moody landlords with water rights. Tonight, this one feels like the former, a guide. Its steady current draws you onward, and you find yourself walking along its bank, following its lazy curves. The moon follows you too, not overhead anymore, but low in the sky, casting a wide silver path across the water. It's almost theatrical, like the stream is showing off. You smile because why not? You're in no hurry. A frog croaks somewhere nearby, the sound echoing over the water. Another answers, slightly out of sync, and for a moment you imagine them as two old friends arguing over something trivial. Maybe who gets the better lily pad, maybe who last brought snacks. The ground dips slightly, and you find yourself stepping onto smooth, flat stones that form a natural walkway right to the edge of the stream. From here, you can see deeper into the water. Small fish darting between rocks, their scales catching bits of moonlight like tiny mirrors. One of them pauses mid-swim, hovering in the current as if waiting for you to notice. It flicks its tail once, twice, then disappears under a submerged log. You wonder, do fish dream? Hyasts think they might. And if they do, perhaps they dream of currents like this one, endlessly winding, never rushing, always carrying them home. You walk on until you spot something unusual ahead. A small wooden dock jutting into the stream, barely wide enough for two people to sit side by side. It's worn, the boards slightly warped, but it feels sturdy under your feet. You sit at the very edge, letting your legs dangle over the water. The current tugs gently at your toes, not enough to move you, but enough to remind you it's there. You lean back on your hands and breathe. It's strange how quickly the mind adapts to stillness when you let it. The worries you dropped back in the field, you can't even remember what they felt like now. They've gone the way of the leaves drifting downstream, out of sight, out of reach. And here's the thing, you didn't have to force it. No wrestling with thoughts, no endless mental checklists, just being here. That's the trick streams have known for thousands of years. Mo without hurry. A reminder that letting go isn't stopping, it's moving forward in a softer way. You lie back on the dock, the wood warm under your spine. Above, the stars seem brighter now. They crowd the sky in clusters and patterns, the kind sailors once memorized for navigation. One star in particular catches your eye, a faint red spark at the edge of your vision. Mars, probably, looking like a tiny ember in the cold sky. Ancient civilizations often tied streams and stars together in their stories. The Milky Way itself, they said, was a great river in the heavens. Some cultures believed it was where the spirits traveled after death. Others thought it was spilt milk from a goddess's jar. Both are oddly comforting, whether you end up in a celestial river or swimming in cosmic dairy. You're still part of something vast and quiet. You let your eyes close again, listening. The stream keeps talking in its gentle voice, telling you nothing urgent, but everything important. Somewhere, an owl calls, low and steady. The night is a patchwork of sound and silence, woven so evenly that you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. A thought drifts through. When you leave the dock, you won't be the same as when you arrived. Something's shifted. Something's lighter. You sit up slowly, letting your legs slip from the water. The path picks up again, just beyond the dock, a ribbon of pale earth winding into the trees. But now the trees are different, taller, closer together, their leaves trembling faintly as if in anticipation. And just ahead, through the branches, you see them. Lanterns, dozens of them, glowing softly in the night, marking the way forward. The river fades behind you as you step toward their light. You step closer, and the glow sharpens into detail. The lanterns hang from low branches, each one a delicate frame of wood and paper, swaying gently in the night air. Some are round, others shaped like small houses. A few are so old their edges are curled and soft, like pages in a book that's been read 1,000 times. The light they give is warm, not the sterile white of modern bulbs, but the golden tone of firelight, as if each one holds a small sun. The path beneath them glows amber, turning the ground into a slow-flowing ribbon of light. The air smells faintly of sandalwood and something floral you can't quite place. Every few steps, a lantern flickers as though acknowledging you, like a nod from an old friend. You can't help but smile back. There's something undeniably ceremonial about the arrangement. Maybe it's a welcome, maybe it's a guide. Historians still argue whether ancient lantern festivals were more about spiritual protection or just an excuse to show off who had the prettiest lights. Either way, it works. You reach out to touch one, and the paper is warm against your fingertips. The light inside doesn't burn, though. You could hold it all night and never feel pain. Instead, it hums softly, like a cat purring in your palm. As you walk deeper along the lantern path, you start to notice something curious. Each lantern holds a little slip of parchment inside, and on each parchment is a single word. You pause at the first, rest. The next says, ease. Another, release. You don't read them aloud. Somehow, just seeing the words is enough to feel their weight. If you can even call it weight, settle inside you in the gentlest way. There's a history to this too. In some cultures, people once wrote their wishes on lanterns before sending them to float away in rivers or drift into the night sky. The belief was that the light would carry the hope to the heavens, where someone or something might grant it. Here, though, the words are, "We create this world and not." You reach a fork in the path. To the left, the lanterns are spaced wide apart, their light spilling softly over moss-covered stones. To the right, they're closer together, forming an almost tunnel-like glow. You choose the right, instinctively drawn to the feeling of being wrapped in light. As you walk, the lanterns sway just enough to make their shadows dance on the ground. The motion is hypnotic, like waves, like breathing. Halfway down the tunnel of light, you notice a small stone pedestal. On top of it sits a lantern unlike the others. It's made of glass, etched with swirling patterns that catch the glow from inside and scatter it across the trees. This one has no word inside, just a single feather, white and impossibly delicate. You reach toward it, but as your hand nears, the feather stirs, lifting slightly as if in a breeze. You don't feel wind on your skin, but somehow the feather his moves, constellations between the branches. Orion's still there, still smug, but now you notice Cassiopeia too, lounging in her W-shaped throne. There's an old story about her vanity, how she was punished for thinking herself more beautiful than the sea nymphs. But here, she just looks comfortable, like someone who's finally stopped caring what anyone thinks. The path begins to widen, and ahead you see a gate, not a wall, just two tall posts joined by a curved beam with a single lantern hanging in the center. It sways gently, though there's no wind. As you pass under it, the ground changes. It's no longer earth and moss, but smooth, cool stone. The air feels different too, still, but charged, as if you've stepped into a space where time runs a little slower. You look back once, and the lantern path is still there, glowing quietly behind you. It doesn't fade, it just waits, ready to light the way again if you ever need to return. In front of you is a narrow archway carved into the side of a hill. Its entrance dark but inviting. From somewhere inside, you hear a faint drip of water, slow and steady. The lanterns have done their work. Now it's time for the stillness to take over. You step forward, letting the shadows wrap around you. The air inside is cooler, but not the kind of cold that bites, more like the calm temperature of a room that's been untouched for centuries. Your footsteps echo softly on the smooth stone, each one melting into the next until you're not even sure if you're hearing them at all or just imagining it. The drip of water grows louder as you move deeper. It's not an impatient sound. It has the patience of ages, the kind of rhythm that could keep going whether anyone listens or not. The passage narrows, then opens suddenly into a round chamber. The walls are smooth and pale, catching what little light there is and giving it back in a faint silver glow. At the very center sits a low, circular pool, its surface so still it looks like glass. The drip you heard falls from somewhere high above, landing in the pool with the gentlest plink, sending ripples across the surface. Each ripple reaches the edge, then folds back toward the center, over and over, as if the water is breathing. You step closer, drawn to that stillness, the way moths are drawn to light. The edge of the pool is wide enough to sit on, and when you do, you feel the cool stone seep slowly into your skin. The air smells faintly mineral, like rain on rock. You take a slow breath, and the scent seems to clear your head in a way nothing else has tonight. In ancient Rome, people would come to places like this, quiet rooms, often with water at their center, to think, pray, or simply rest. Some believed the still water reflected not just their faces, but their true selves. Historians still argue whether these chambers were meant for ceremony or just a very early form of spa day. You lean forward and look into the water. Your reflection looks back, not exactly as you see yourself in mirrors, but softer. The lines of worry are faint, almost gone. Even your posture looks lighter, your shoulders no longer curving forward under invisible weight. Then, something unusual happens. The reflection, being the yin, thinging kana, the operations, the lengths of me, the tonus, the termas of me, thinking life, tinking links, keeches, casing, two gave for, flaction, span, two, handen. You went, els day, chin, high, down, and, en. You enters, the en tilts, unwonderabluses to the back of your mind, like a post-it note you keep forgetting to take down. You watch as the ripples carry it away, then fade back into stillness. The room feels warmer now, though nothing has changed in the air. The stillness is no longer just around you, it's inside you. Every breath feels like it's moving through more space, like you've cleared a room in your chest that was too cluttered to notice before. There's an odd comfort in the idea that stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It just means you're letting the important things happen without interference. You notice a small opening on the far side of the chamber, half hidden by shadow. It's low. You have to duck slightly to pass through, but beyond it is a short corridor leading upward. The floor here is different, dustier, and your steps make a faint crunch. Light spills ahead, not golden lantern light this time, but soft silver. You emerge into an open-air space at the top of the hill, surrounded by stone walls, low enough to see over. The night has shifted subtly. The stars look closer here, brighter, as if they've leaned in to hear what you might say. The moon sits low, hanging just above the horizon, and the light it casts is broad and gentle. A single bench waits in the middle of the space. It's carved from a single slab of pale stone, worn smooth by time. You sit, and from here, you can see both the lantern path you came from and far in the distance, the silver ribbon of the stream. There's a strange sense of completion in that view, like seeing the pages of a book laid out all at once, the beginning and the middle in sight even as you move toward the end. A breeze moves through, carrying the faintest scent of salt water. It makes you think of the ocean, even though you can't see it yet. You know it's coming though. Somewhere ahead, the shore waits. You linger on the bench, letting the night wrap around you. Somewhere far off, a night bird calls, a single note, low and steady. It's answered by another and another, till the sound fades into the hum of the air. When you stand again, you notice a narrow stairway carved into the side of the hill, leading down toward that distant, unseen shore. The steps are uneven, but they're steady, guiding you down into the darkness with the patience of something that's been here for hundreds of years. You take them slowly, the cool stone under your feet, the sound of waves beginning to thread into the quiet. The stairway winds downward, the steps smoothing under your feet, the way only centuries of passage can do. Each turn brings the faint sound of the ocean closer, a low, rhythmic hush that seeps into your bones. It's not hurried, not demanding, just constant. Like a friend who's been sitting beside you this whole time, waiting for you to notice. The air changes too, cooler now and damp, with that unmistakable tang of salt. It wraps around you like a thin mist, clinging gently to your skin. You round the last bend and step onto soft sand. It gives slightly under your weight, grains cool between your toes. The moon is enormous here, hanging just above the water, painting a long silver path across the surface, straight toward you. It looks so solid, you almost think you could walk on it. The beach curves away in both directions, endless in the moonlight. Behind you, the dark silhouette of the hill keeps watch. Ahead, the waves slide in and out with a pace so steady you could time your breath to it. You start walking along the shore, your feet sinking just enough to leave faint impressions that the next tide will erase. The water's edge brushes against your toes every so often, not cold, just cool enough to feel alive. In ancient times, people believed the ocean was the edge of the world. Some feared it, some worshipped it, some set sail into it without knowing what they'd find. Historians still argue whether early explorers were driven more by curiosity or desperation. Maybe both. Tonight, the ocean feels like neither danger nor mystery. It feels like home. A piece of driftwood lies ahead, smoothed to a pale, bone-like shape by years of waves. You pick it up, it's surprisingly light, and toss it gently into the next wave. It floats away without hesitation, turning once before vanishing into the silver road of moonlight. You follow it with your eyes until it's gone. Then let your gaze wander upward. The sky is vast here, more so than anywhere else you've been tonight. The stars look scattered at random, but you know there's order to them. Patterns people have been naming for thousands of years. One in particular catches you, the Southern Cross, low on the horizon. It's been a guide for sailors for centuries, pointing the way south. There's something comforting about that, a constant in the middle of endless water. The waves slide in again, this time higher, and you step back, laughing softly to yourself. It's a small, private moment, the kind no one else will ever see, but somehow stays with you. A little farther down the shore, you notice a cluster of smooth stones glistening in the moonlight. They're scattered in a rough circle, and in the center, a shallow pool has formed, holding perfectly still despite the waves just feet away. You crouch beside it. The water inside reflects the moon perfectly, undistorted, as though the pool is keeping a secret version of the sky just for itself. You dip your fingers in, and the surface trembles, sending the moon rippling into pieces. When it settles again, the image returns whole and patient, like nothing happened. You lie back on the sand, letting the cool grains mold around you. The sound of the waves becomes your breath, in and out, steady and sure. Somewhere above, a gull calls once, then falls silent, as if even the night creatures are ready to rest. The last threads of thought unravel quietly in your mind, not torn or cut, just loosening, floating away like kelp in the tide. Your body feels heavier now, in the best way, as if the sand itself is holding you in place. There's a point where the rhythm of the ocean becomes indistinguishable from your own heartbeat. You're not sure when it happens, only that it does. The silver path on the water seems to pulse gently, like it's breathing with you. You close your eyes, and the shore doesn't disappear. It lingers behind your eyelids, soft and luminous. You could stay here forever, and in a way you will, because places like this live in you once you've found them. The waves keep speaking in their slow language, and you understand without needing to translate. They tell you, it's safe now, you can rest. And so you do. The sound of the waves is steady now, unchanging. Your breath follows, lengthening without effort, matching that ancient rhythm. The air is cool and soft, the sand warm beneath you, and above, the moon drifts slowly toward the horizon. You let the images of the night fade, the field where you left your stones, the silver stream, the lantern path, the still room in the hill, all of them dissolving into the quiet glow of the shore. There's nothing left to do, no weight to carry, no thought to chase. The ocean holds them all now, far from you, where they can't return. Your body is heavy and light at the same time, floating without moving. Every muscle is loose, every breath is easy. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and the night will keep you safe. Let the tide carry you deeper and deeper, until even the sound of the waves is a whisper in your dreams. Sweet dreams. Jose.